What's up, beautiful people? It's me, Kendra. In today's video, I am going to tell you why this semester will be my fourth attempt at nurse practitioner school, okay? I have no shame in my game. It is for good reason, and the number one reason why is that I cannot get with online learning. Okay, now I know a lot of you here will say in the comments, oh, well, I did it. It's doable. It was, you just have to be organized. You just have to have good time management. Well, number one, I don't have the discipline to adhere to a curriculum that is just put online for me to follow and get work done. I am one of those people that I need human interaction. Like for me, education belongs in the classroom. Like I just can't get with a lot of the online learning, especially when it comes down to nursing and medicine and being trained to become a provider. It just is not clicking for me. So I've attempted, and like I said, this is my fourth time because the first three times were all unsuccessful. So let me go ahead and just explain to you what this journey consists. My very first attempt at nurse practitioner school, that was my fault because I had no business applying for a master's degree program. Like, girl, you already have an MSN degree. What I should have done was applied for a postmaster certificate, but I did not do my due diligence. I was caught up in the hype and I was like, okay, yeah, let me just go ahead and apply to this school. And it was a state university that I applied to. So it was cheap, it was affordable. I'm like, let me just go ahead and do it. But once I started taking classes, I realized that some of these classes, I already took classes like these previously. So what am I doing? And then also when I started that program, that was back in 2019, the pandemic was starting to rear its ugly head, I think early 2020, and your girl started travel nursing. So I think I passed my first semester, and in the second semester, I was like, you know what? Let me just put this on the back burner because I was going back and forth, doing a lot of local travel assignments. School was the last thing on my radar. So that was the first time I dropped out of nurse practitioner school. The second time, I said, you know what? A certain university, and I'm pretty sure, I don't want to say their names because I'm not trying to get sued or have any kind of liability, okay? But this is a very large school and they cater to online students. A lot of their learning is online. Well, it basically is an online school because there is no brick and mortar. Like you just can't walk in and say, oh, let me go see my instructor or let me go see my professor. The school is mainly based online. It is a very large institution and they pump out nurse practitioners like no tomorrow. It's like a factory in there and they're just sending these nurse practitioners out. So I said, okay, they have a postmaster certificate. It is online. Let me go ahead and enroll and see what I can do at this institution. It was a little bit more money because it is a for-profit institution, but I was like, okay, I can suck it up and pay it. I'll probably take out a little bit of loan to help supplement. So let me go ahead and enroll. Filled out the application, spoke with the recruiter. She was real excited to get me started. And the very first week when I signed on, I was like, what in the world is this? I was taking 2 classes, and when I tell you I was overwhelmed, number one, the reason why I was overwhelmed is because this school, they used Blackboard. And the Blackboard I was used to in undergrad was not the same Blackboard that they were using. Stuff was just every single where. When I tell you it was madness, it was madness. Like, I would log in, click on a class, one window would open up. Within that class, I would have to click on something else. And it was just this constant string of windows being opened up on my computer. And I would have to toggle back and forth between the different screens or the different tabs. And I was just like, this is not going to work because the textbook is online. So I got to read the textbook. Then I got to go back to this tab to type what I'm typing. And then it was just a lot. And I'm like, I am paying a whole lot of money here for a lot of this organization. I did not like the Blackboard setup. And then I had to find my own clinical site. So I was just like, you know what? I don't feel like the money that this school is charging, once again, it was a for-profit institution. I don't feel like the money was worth it. I just felt like, and then also too, that specific school, like the reputation is not that great. Like I've heard more negative than positive because once again, a lot of people look at that school like a degree mill. They're just pumping out nurse practitioners, sending you out, FNP, psych nurse practitioner, all kinds of nurse practitioner, acute care. They just pumping them out. And also too, I was just like, this is what happened. I remember now, this is what happened. So one of the classes, I was a little bit confused on the assignment. So the professor, she had her number listed and she had the hours that we can call her. So I called this lady and was asking her questions. You know what she said to me? She said, I'm gonna give you a few extra days to get that assignment in, because to be honest, because she was like from the South, she's like, to be honest, I don't even know what's up there. She was like, you know, the school basically creates the curriculum and they post it online and I just facilitate the course. So she was like, I don't know what assignment, like what clarification you need, because I myself have not even reviewed the assignment. She was like, she's like, you know, I'm going to get online tonight and look through it and I'll get back to you. But she was like, it's the first week. So even if you're a couple days late, you're going to be fine. Say what? So you're the professor, but you don't know, like you didn't have a say, or you weren't involved in the planning or in the curriculum development process of this course. So I'm paying more money than I was paying at the previous state university for what? And remember, I have a master's in nursing education, so I'm a little bit familiar with like curriculum development and how education, academia is supposed to like work. So when she told me she ain't had no clue of what was on I said, you know what, let me not. So I emailed the school. I ended up dropping the courses and I told them never ever contact me again. So that was that school. And I'm pretty sure, I don't want to say the name of the school because like I said, I don't want any liability issues. I don't want nobody suing me. But yes, that school, I'm done with that. That was strike 2. The third strike was I enrolled into another online school that had a better reputation. Now, this school is an actual school. I won't say where it's located because it'll probably be a dead giveaway, but they do have an actual campus in a Midwestern state. And their program appeared to be solid. I spoke to 2 other people who had graduated from their program and they all had good things to say. They felt like they were well prepared or whatever the case is. So I started that program, but I realized at that point, girl, you are not an online learner. Like reading the text, not having anybody to like bounce ideas off of, doing discussion boards and having to find multiple. First of all, this is the one thing about online school that I cannot take. Discussion board assignments. Like, you want for me to do a discussion, right? So I do the discussion and I have to find 2 to 3, sometimes even up to 4 sources to support my stance and why I feel the way that I feel about this particular topic, or whatever details were in the discussion, whatever details I posted, I had to support it with articles, right? So after doing that, I now have to respond to 2 other classmates and find articles to support my stance on whether or not I agree or disagree with whatever my classmate posted. I was like, y'all got me messed up. Because first of all, between working, I'm a mom, and having my own personal life, where do y'all think I have time from to do all of this work? Excuse me, the first time I went to school and I did my master's degree, I didn't have that kind of stress because a lot of the interaction was in the classroom. So if there's a discussion going on in the classroom, we all participate, we're all contributing. So I guess that takes the place of the discussion board, or vice versa. The discussion board is taking the place for what would happen in the classroom. But honey, that wasn't working for me. So I quickly realized at that point, you know what? It's not just that online learning isn't the best way to learn. You're just not going to thrive in that kind of environment. And guess what, girl? That is okay. What you need to do is go ahead and find yourself a school that has an in-person program, or even if it's not in person, you need to find a school that has a hybrid format, so that way you can spend some time in the classroom, some time on campus, or even if you're not going in on campus on a regular basis, the classes are at least live. So that way, basically what happens with that is that the professor, there's a schedule, you log on, all the students in the class are on at the same time, and the professor is doing a live lecture, and we can interact back and forth. That is the kind of learning that works for me. And I realized that after I enrolled to that third NP program that happened to be online. I said no. I did the semester. Oh, and also too, let me just say this. For a lot of these online schools or a lot of NP programs, you have to find your own clinical preceptor. And that within itself is a class. Like, they need to give points, they need to give credit to people who are finding these preceptors, because that is a whole lot of work that I feel like is underplayed and it's not discussed. Let me just tell y'all the stress that I incurred trying to find a preceptor, because with that school, the third school, the credits that I transferred over made me eligible to to do a clinical rotation that very first semester. So I had to get a preceptor, right? Spent the entire spring going into summer searching for a preceptor, like emails, phone calls, faxing people, showing up at offices. And finally I found a preceptor. So that's fine. Found one, secured him. He was good to go. But then the documentation that was required by the school and following up with the physician and the clinic owner, when I tell you that thing stressed me out, this went on into the semester, right? So I spent so much time trying to get that whole thing set up that I began neglecting the classes. Like, I was falling behind because I was so stressed out from not being able to start my clinical on time because the preceptor had delayed in getting me some of his documentation, that I was just like, listen, I don't know if I'll be able to do this. So by the time I got everything secured with the clinical site and started going to clinical and trying to catch back up with work, I was like, man, forget this. This is just not it for me. I really just came to that realization that online learning, it's just not for me. I'll be very honest, and I'm not trying to say that people who go to school online don't value education, but I value the fundamentals, the foundation of what education is built on. Being within, learning amongst each other is the way, I'm sorry, that's the only way I feel like education should happen. Like, a little distant learning here and there is fine, but to make education completely online and distant, and I get it, people are working, blah, 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 it's more flexible, but it's just not the same. And like I said, it doesn't work. Needless to say, your girl dropped out of that program, but I should have prefaced this entire video by saying I always have a plan A, B, C, and D. By the time I decided that I was no longer going to return to that online program, I had already secured, I was working behind the scenes, y'all. I had already secured admissions into a brick and mortar school here in the state that I live in that has a hybrid program where we spend some time in the classroom on campus and where you spend some time online and do a live class. The professors at that university, they're very present, very available. They want to interact with students. They email you. They're actually real people. They have office hours. They have virtual hours that I can just say, you know what? I'm going on campus. I'm having a hard time with my, with whatever. Let me go in and go talk to my professor. So I'm getting that human interaction. Also, I attended the orientation last evening and I was able to meet some of my classmates and a friend of mine. We decided to go to that same program. So I have someone I can refer to, like call and say, hey girl, what's going on? Or don't forget this assignment is due or whatever, just to have as support. Because I think that is what I missed. I didn't have support. When you go to school online, it's people from all over the US. And a lot of times it's very difficult to make friendships because it's virtual, right? And they're all adults, have their own lives, already have their own friends established. Like, who really has time to be making friends? So for me, if you're like me and need that human interaction, you need that camaraderie, I say that I don't think an online program might work for you, especially if if you're planning on going to nurse practitioner school. You might want to spend some time looking at schools that offer a hybrid format or that allows you to at least come in and do some classroom sessions. I'm very excited about this new journey at this new state university that I'm going. Oh, by the way, let me also mention that this is an HBCU, so you know the vibe is going to be there, and I'm all here for it. Thank you all for watching. I'll keep you posted on my FNP journey. See you all again in the next video.